everyone, it's time to turn the page in your life with Book Talk Your Story. Today I have a special guest with me. I have a young man by the name of Nehemiah Prince. He goes to VCU. He's a freshman out there. Even though he looks like he's around 15 years old, you know, I was like shocked when he came in. I'm thinking that he was in the 11th or 12th grade, but he actually graduated. I knew him from a few years back when we did some youth teen center lock-ins. But he's a great young guy, got his head on straight, doing positive things. So we're just going to find out what stage and where is he at in his life today. So again, Mr. Nehemiah Prince, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Pleasure is all mine. So why don't you begin by telling us something about yourself?
Well, again, my name is Nehemiah Prince. I am a freshman at VCU. I'm majoring in business foundations with a concentration in marketing. I've lived in Newport News for about, I could say, probably about 16 years, maybe no less than that. Probably about 14 years, probably. Yeah.
Okay. No problem. All good. Okay. So, what is it that you do, and why are you excited to do what you're doing?
Well, I make content. I'm focused on content creation mainly through YouTube. At the moment, I am focusing on college content because I'm a freshman and I feel like I have some credibility from already experiencing my first semester and going through and feeling like the process of everything. And so I feel like I can put forth content to help others in their journey through college, because I know for me it wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't the hardest at all.
Right.
Because I've already had experienced certain things that prepared me for what was to come. And so I had already been dealing with certain things, and so I just want people to have like an easier experience as they go through the college experience.
So you're paving the way for those who are coming up,
Yeah.
to help them transition to a more appropriate and make it just as seamless as possible.
Yes.
So that's great, because you're making way for those who come in behind you, and not many people, especially young people, look after the ones who are coming up. You have to realize that you're a trendsetter and that you're making a mark for others to follow in those footsteps, and you want to make that mark as easily as possible for them to follow. Not something that they have to struggle and find out, how do you do this, when do you do that. Just make it simple. If you make it simple for people, it makes it a lot easier for them to want to have a motivation to do something more. But a lot of times they don't want to do it because of the work that's involved or the work that they think is involved. So you're helping out by taking care of some of that work right now in the process.
Definitely.
So has the work been hard? Is it difficult?
Yeah, I can actually say that YouTube is really a difficult thing to do because of the process and the steps that you have to take in order to actually start it. You can start YouTube like that, but there's certain things and guidelines that you have to follow by in order to successfully and effectively put out your content the way you want to.
Okay.
But making videos isn't really that hard. Editing came easy to me because I've had some experience in the past,
Right.
and so it just came easy to me, and I kind of developed the skill for editing as I went along. And then it got better and better, and I just kind of self-taught myself in that manner. But the hardest part, I would have to say, is really sometimes it's ideas and coming up with different ideas for your videos. Also, just putting forth your effort and the time that you need, because for me, I'm a college student, like I said, and so I have classes throughout the day. And so I have to make sure I devote time to those classes, and that's priority number one, because I'm in college to get an education. Even though I do want to help people, I have to make sure that I'm focusing on my
Taking care of yourself.
Yes. And so finding the time to do it is really not that hard. It's just taking the initiative to actually go and say, okay, let's time to do this. Because you want your free time after you study for a couple hours. You know? And so it's really a thing about sacrificing some of your free time, your social life sometimes, to make sure you do what you want to do. And it's a way of life. I call it a job because it is a job. It's something that I have put myself into, and I definitely want to grow from. And so I see it as it's a job, and that's what I have to get done.
So it's a passion for you.
It's definitely a passion.
Great. So with it being a passion for you, and the key element about having a passion is, like what you just said, you have to sacrifice.
Yes.
So when you sacrifice, do you regret those sacrifices, or is it something that it needs to be done? I got to do it. Or do you think that other people take for granted that you sacrifice to do things to help them? in the process?
I definitely feel like I don't regret my sacrifices that I made. Sometimes I feel like I could have did this. Like if I with my free time, sometimes I'll take advantage of my free time, and so sometimes I'll have to delay or I'll take away other time to make sure that both those things get done, and like I'm truly appeased, you know.
Right.
But like I feel like it's definitely nothing I regret. But with people taking advantage of it, I don't feel like they do.
Okay.
I feel like some people don't know what it takes because at the moment I have like some people that are kind of under me at the moment trying to build and do similar to what I do,
Right.
but in different styles and different content. But it's a hard process because I definitely want to help them as much as I can. But most things are a learning experience for yourself, and I had to get here, you know, on my own. I had some help, but I had to get here with the building and grace of God, you know.
Right, definitely.
And so you have to really realize what you're getting into and how hard it is sometimes. And some things, like some people won't sacrifice because it may not be their passion, and that's not a problem. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's just it happens sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the great thing I like about you is that you're early and you're young in age, and you have your head on straight. It's like that. You know what you want and where you're trying to go, and you're working toward getting there.
Definitely.
You're not stalling. You're not procrastinating. You're like, while I'm hot, let me go ahead and do what I need to do now, so I can do whatever I want to do later. So you're fulfilling that need now. So that's very impressive, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud of the young man that you become, you know, and that you're in the process of becoming more of. So with that being said, are you looking at having a website or some type of tutorial or something that you're going to post out for people to learn these certain elements of what you do?
Yeah, well, I have the videos on YouTube that do that have like.
So they already posted on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
great.
Yeah, because at the moment I'm actually in the process of it's already out, but like half of it's still not out because I post them weekly.
Okay.
But my college series, I have a college series on. It's like pretty much the basic elements of what you need for college. However, like after the college series, I plan on like keep doing the college content, you know, and keeping it flowing. But everything is out except my website. I do have a website in the works. However, it's not out yet to the public. I probably won't make it active probably until early summertime for me, Mayish, to make it active because I want to make like a survival guide or like a checklist or something for maybe a dorms, a checklist for just goals or something like that for college students. And so I have to make that on like a form and fill that out. But I do want that to launch with the website. My website is pretty much almost done. It's just those other things that can be added that I want to add before.
And are you creating this website on your own?
Yeah.
Multi-talented. That's good, man. So you just get in there and do it. It's like there's no to it. Yeah. It's like just give me the tools and I'll make it happen.
If I had to like put a pin on my passion, it would definitely be to help people. I always have the urge to help people, and like going into college and going into that journey, it was really about. I felt like my need for help to help people was going into medical. And I was like, I wanted to be a surgeon, and so it kind of showed, and I was like, these classes, you know, the science classes and stuff kind of get overbearing. And then the years of how long it takes, and then the money and all that stuff like that. It's a huge expense, and I know myself, and I'm like, I know I'm not a lazy person, but at the same time, I know if I can't handle something, I won't try to do that. I'll try to figure out another way, you know. And so I had to figure out another way, and I changed to computer science. Computer science was something that I've done in high school, but I didn't really like. I was interested in it, but it wasn't something that I knew I wanted to do for the rest of my life. The only reason why I chose it was because I know computer science is a paying field, and it would help me pay for the loans coming out of college and all these different things. But I came to the realization shortly in that time frame of trying to switch and change majors and all this stuff like that, was like, I wanted to do something for myself, you know? And I feel like God will give you what you need, you know, when you need it. And you have to just be faithful. You got to be true. You have to definitely pray, and definitely a lot of prayer. It helped me come up with a decision to change it and to change it to something that I wanted to do, because I know that I will produce the fruits of my labor. You know, and the things that I'm doing now will prepare me for that time to come, you know. And so I wasn't worried about money. I'm like, okay, money will come when it comes, you know.
Exactly.
And I want to do what I want to do to make sure that, you know, I'm
develop your talent, develop what you're trying to get to.
Definitely.
You know? That is awesome, because you don't have many young people. Because what society, what the secular world shows, and what the media tells us is that go after the money.
Definitely.
But biblically, we know that blessings will follow once you follow the right thing that you're supposed to be following, which is your passion, which is your purpose. So if you put purpose first, everything else will fall in line.
Definitely.
So, and not many young people do we have that are bright to understand that. So I'm going to throw this right here to the side, because I'm going to have a couple of more just general questions with you, because it really does my soul good to talk to a young man who already has his head on straight, has a plan in life. I want to know, how did you get your head on straight? How did you get this fire in you to do and to stay focused? Because it's so much going on. There are so many temptations, so many so much peer pressure that is out there. Why and how?
Well, okay. So when I was 16, I started at Domino's Pizza.
Okay.
And I started as a regular customer service representative. That was my first actual job. I've had other things where I did volunteer opportunities and all that stuff like that, but I started at that job. That was my first real job. And so, and going into that process, I made sure, because as a black man, you know, you have to be responsible for yourself. You know, you have to fight harder than other people will.
Right.
You know,
True.
in different situations.
That's a true statement.
Yes. And so I realized, I was like, I have to make a good impression when I go into this interview.
Right.
So I got dressed. I had shirt, tie, and everything ironed, everything nice. You know, I got there maybe 10, 20 minutes early, because it's right around the corner from my house. I walked there. And I walked there, and I got there for an interview. And the crazy thing was, because I was just talking to my my general manager about it maybe 2 weeks ago. I believe it was 2 weeks last time I was here for work. I talked to him like 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about that day with the interview. And he said, one thing that really stuck out to me, that I said, I thank God for it, because the mindset that I was in then really, it carried me through this whole experience, and it definitely provided so many blessings for me as it went on. And he said that the day that you walked in for that interview, he said, at first I thought you were a customer because you were just dressed up. And so I actually, you could pick up, order, or something like that. And he was like, no, I'm here for an interview. He said, right as you said that, I knew that you would get the job. You had the job, right? Just by you dressing up and being there as early as you were, you got the job. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. Right. Because once I went back to go interview with the other manager, and then I came out, and he was like, okay, so this is where you'll be working. And I was like, a solidified job was there.
Right.
You know, he was ready, you know. And the crazy thing was, it was like, I don't want to just bring it to a black perspective, but I was like maybe the first black person that was there at the time. And I'm not saying that they weren't diverse and like that. It just, people weren't stepping into those positions. Sometimes when you see a big crowd of people that are not like you, you tend to stay away from that crowd. But I chose to go into it. One, because I needed the money. Right. But two, because I felt like, you know, you can cause a shift. You can cause a wave in what you do. Right. And so I was the first person, and people trickled. People trickled. The diversity trickled as it went along. But my main mindset, once I got the job and once I was doing everything, was I have to always get better. And I have to be the best. Because I'm black, and there's a stigma behind me, you know, and there's all these different things, obstacles that I can face, you know, do this, but I have to be the best. And I made sure, that I was the best, you know, and they always would say, I think 2 weeks into me working there, I was on top of everything, and they were like, who is this man? Who is he? You know, and I was surpassing people that were there for longer than I was. And it was crazy to them, and
you wasn't there just for a job. You was there to perform and to do what you had to do. Yes. And that was just all part of who you are.
Yes.
Because you're not a lazy person by any means.
Definitely not.
So you're going to go in and you're going to just blow minds, because you're giving them something that you haven't seen before.
Yes.
And you're changing the dynamic of the perspectives of how black people are viewed in most cases when we go in there.
Yes.
So, I mean, how did they look at you, you know, when they start seeing you step up? What was their thinking? How was the treatment of you? You know, talk to me. Let me know. I'm like, I need to know these things. This is some good stuff.
The treatment got much, it wasn't the treatment was bad at all. It got much better. But they were I was praised I was just you know, somebody highlight. Now I'm really I humble myself to not be get a big head about certain things. And so it was really something big when the higher up in our area noticed me. And he noticed me. He remembered my face. He remembered my name. Every time he came, he would say hi to me. And I did. We stretch skins for pizzas and stuff like that. I had the fastest time in the area, you know. And so it was just like things were adding up.
Right.
And over the course of the 2 years I was working there, and then other times where I had to take breaks because of school or because of marching band and different things of that nature, I was still able to come back. And they said, "You're always able to come back." You know, they made flexibility for me. Like I told them one summer that I was like, I'm becoming the drum major, so I probably won't be here as much as I try, you know. And so I probably will have to leave the job.
Right.
And they were like, "No, you don't have to leave the job." They found a way that we only have to work 1 hour per month to actually be affiliated to say that you work at Domino's. They were like, "We're gonna make this work for you so that you can keep this job," you know. And it was really just wild. And over the course of the 2 years, we've had like 3 higher ups just change. And recently, back in December, I believe, I was talking to my mom on the phone. I was at school, in college, and so I really didn't have means to go back to Domino's at the time because I'm in college now. And so I talked to my mom, and she was like, "Hey, you should get another job, like for a break. You should get 2 jobs, that way you can get some more money and to help pay for college." And so I was like, "Okay." And so I texted my manager, because I had already contacted him prior to that. I was like, "I'm coming back for break. I can work during break." And I told him, I was like, "I'll probably only be able to work night shifts so that in the morning time I can work somewhere else, you know, and make that money." He was like, "Well, you don't even have to do all that. I can provide you with 40 hours per week and promote you to assistant manager."
Wow.
And I was like, I was just amazed. I was like, "Definitely, okay, that's fine with me," you know. And that
all came
like,
from working. I'm sorry, but that all came from having performing with a spirit of excellence, and how God in His Word says He will bring you before great people.
Yes.
And He positioned you.
Yes.
He allowed you to be positioned because you were obedient to His Word.
Yes.
And you trusted His
Yes.
Word, and you still trust His Word.
Yes.
And then it brings favor your way.
Yes.
So when you leave somewhere, you can always go back if you need to. You know, and it's not that you're just trying to play both hands. It's just the favor that's on your life.
Yes.
Because of what and who you choose to follow, which is the Word of God.
Yes.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
you're saying some good things here, man, that a lot of young people need to hear. So were there times when you felt like, forget college, forget my dreams, I don't want to do anything, I just want to stay at home? Were there times that you had those thoughts of giving up?
It was really the beginning time, like my first semester of taking those classes and feeling like, oh, this is not something I want to do. You know, when you want to do something, you'll find your motivation usually to do it. And if you're passionate about something, you're interested in something, you'll find the motivation to say, hey, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to research, I'm going to learn, I'm going to do this and do what I have to do because I want to do this, you know.
So what was your motivation?
It really was just like to get through college because both of my parents, they didn't they went into college, but they were never like graduated from college. And so it really was like a stigma of, I need to be the first graduate, you know, of my immediate family. And be the graduate and do that. Even whatever happens, like through whatever major, whatever this, I'm going to graduate. And, you know, that was my mindset. Even though there were times where I was just like, I can't do this, I'm going to drop out, you know. And things get hard, and you just kind of, it really was God. I tell you, it was God really just pushing me through everything, you know. And I prayed, and I was just like, okay, God, you know, you got something for me. I'm willing, you know, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to submit. Yeah, I submitted, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna let you have it. You know, you have whatever glory is going to come from this, and what I do. So I let it have it.
Man, that's awesome right there. So looking forward, what are you looking to achieve, and what are you looking to achieve that will actually, like you already told us about setting the course for those who are coming behind you. But what are you doing? I mean, once you get to where you're going, how are you looking at reaching back? Where are you going, and what are you going to do to reach back?
Like to give back?
Yes.
Well, I plan on going pretty much higher in this.
Okay.
It's not really about like fame and fortune, but I do hope to become well known with people, so that way people know and can learn and can see my process and to see what it took for me to get there. You know, because I realized one thing. I was like, back when my mindset wasn't as straight as it is now, I was in the mindset of my voice doesn't matter. You know. And I'm just an ordinary person, you know. I haven't been through that much, you know. And I was like, I've only been through little to what other people have. Okay. And somebody assured me, and they were like, you don't ever have to feel like you are nothing. Like your voice doesn't matter. You aren't hurt, you know, and your story doesn't matter. because my story does matter, you know,
Definitely.
and it can help someone as long as it helps one person, you know.
Right.
It's there, you know, it's valid, and so I know that my story can help people, and so I plan on going higher in business, in media. There's a lot of things I'm interested in and passionate about that kind of can correspond and connect with each other, so that's a good thing. I'm interested in film, in acting, all those different things of that nature. So I do plan on trying to reach those higher goals and to become something bigger than what I am, you know. I don't like just having one job. I don't like 9-to-5 jobs.
Right.
I mean, I did Domino's, but that was for, you know, circumstantial. But I don't really like having, I know my mindset when I went to into college, after I changed from all those different pathways, I was like, I do not accept a 9-to-5 job, you know. I want a job that I can control, that's flexible. I want a job that that I could possibly to have a team for, you know, because I like working in teams.
Right.
Even though, you know, you have to fall with accountability and stuff like that, I still like working in teams because people bounce off ideas. People have those inputs that really help you and get you to a better result, you know. And so I like that. And I also said I wanted to travel. I want to be able to travel around the country, around the world at some point, you know. And so I was like, I want this to be a job where I can just do whatever I need to do, you know, have these certain skill sets. And so I do plan on getting higher in that, and that's where money will come from, I know. And I also plan on, like, giving back to the different parts that I've been at. At the moment at VCU, there's like a mental health initiative going on. I'm really involved with like mental health and stuff like that because I really found an interest in it, and I actually have something in the works. It's like a mental health series that I plan on doing with my YouTube channel. And it's really probably like, and it's gonna be like interview style, where I interview some people about just different aspects of mental health, whether it's anxiety, depression, all these different things, just to make people aware of
Awareness.
And like awareness is really like a big thing with me. And so that's like something I'm trying to do with VCU. In the community there, I actually got in contact with somebody that really is probably going to set me up in a good place to be able to help and just do it, you know. Not if I'm just over it, but as long as I'm able to help with initiatives and stuff like that, I'm fine with that. With down here with this community, I want to partner with
being a Newport News,
Newport News area. I really want to partner with the schools. I want to go back to my high school, my middle school, and hopefully that will branch out to other schools. I want to go back to them and like kind of like if I can talk to them, I'll possibly have some of my peers that I know come and talk to them that have like a positive mindset and all that sort of things, just to help them get motivated for life. Because some people just don't have any motivation for life because
I was going to ask you that. Do you find that a lot of the ones who are here, because even at the youth center when we used to go there for the team lock-ins, did you find that a lot of their attention is drawn towards celebrities or you know, sporting rather than their minds? Do you find that that's a lot what's going on?
That is a lot what's going on, and I feel like it really is. Your environment does affect who you are and what you come out to be. Now, some people take it on two different points, and they'll take it to a point where my environment was bad, so I chose to change it and direct a different course to help others, you know, do that. But some people's mindset is, my environment's bad, well, I'm just going to stay, you know, it's not going to get any better. And that's like a hard mindset to be in because it can always get better, but you have to put forth work and effort to get it to a better place. And so I definitely want to assure them that, like, you matter, your voice matters, you should be heard, you know, and your story can help somebody else, you know, depending on whatever you do. Even if you do choose to do sports or choose to do rapping, because most people like around here, I know they choose to do sports or rapping. It's two different like goals, you know. But I'm like, everybody doesn't make it, and that's one thing that's a hard thing to swallow, hard pill to swallow. And that's one thing I realized, like, everybody doesn't make it, but I was like, I won't tell anybody that they won't make it into there because things happen, you know, and I want to make it. And so I'm like, if I want to make it, I'm going to make it happen, you know, and it will happen because I can see that it's going to happen. I can see the process and the journey that I'm on and how everything has been advancing, everything has been like progressing, and I can see where it's going, and I'm like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it to where I'm going to reach my goals, and I'm going to just blow them out the water, you know, and not probably supersede my goals and what I wanted to do. But I want people to realize that your motivation for life should be more than just the basketball or just the rapping. You know, you should be able to, you should have a yearning to want to share with others and, you know, and to help others and stuff like that. And not everybody has to, but it should be a good thing that can be at least implanted into those people. And so I want to plan on partnering with those schools just to help with like the college aspect, because that's where I have my credibility at, is with college, because I'm there. It's harder to really have a credibility in other subjects because I'm not a professional in those, or I'm not like fully, acclimated and dipped into those. And so I really plan on trying to push that through, that initiative of helping individuals get to college, knowing the resources that you need. Because I know with my school, with Heritage, they gave a lot of resources, but some people won't take that extra step to actually go and look for those resources. Right. And so sometimes you have to give that extra push. I feel like, okay, this is kind of not off subject, but it kind of is. Teachers, they don't get paid enough, and we all know this. And I feel like they definitely should get paid more, because they, at least a lot of teachers down here that I know from my experience with school, they definitely put forth more effort to help their students. And I have my English teacher from 11th grade, Miss Jennings. I know she definitely put forth a lot of effort to help her students that she had in her class to really go up and beyond. And our school is pretty much predominantly black, so like that's like something that really resonates in people. Of your blackness is what people see. People see your blackness, and if you reach for and supersede what they see, and you make a name for yourself, or you just are doing really good, and you're like really advancing in what your craft, what your passion is, what your interest is, people will really see you not just from your blackness, but they'll see you for your character, for your personality, for your profession. And so that's one thing I definitely like hold true with some of the teachers that I've had in my past, because they definitely have influenced a lot of what I do now. Just not even just by what they taught, but what they taught mentally. And what the things they instilled in us to say, okay, this is this. This is this. Keep this in you. To progress to the future. It definitely has helped me and built me into the person I am today.
Right. And with that being said, it's I think that the young people, there's no reason to be ashamed of going for some type of STEM as far as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There should be no shame in being smart. You know what I mean? And the one thing I always tell people is, part of my motto is turn the page of your life, or in your life. No, the only reason why anyone is smarter than you is because they turned the page. They did not stay on the same page. And we have to, especially us as a black community, have to learn how to turn the page in our life and say, okay, this what it is now, but I want to see what tomorrow brings. And in part of me seeing, or in hopes of me seeing what tomorrow brings, I have to turn the page. I have to put in my work, to know that there is something better. But sadly for our community, especially here within the Newport News area and places like Memphis and Chicago, Inglewood, is that they do not have anyone to show them anything that there is more to life. And then so when they do get out there and they see that there's more to life, a lot of times they end up going buck wild, because it's something, they're trying to grab everything that they can or do everything that they can. But if you teach them at a young age, like right now, in their teens or so, then they will be more open to doing better. And part of that, it goes back to, like you said, is what the teachers are teaching, those who care, but there are some caring teachers. There are many caring teachers. And on top of that, we have, I think that one of the biggest things that falter or that hurts our community is when we get parents that push their kids into the sports realm rather than putting the priority on the education.
Because education, like when you go into sports in general, they tell you your education has to be on point, and usually they have things available, and like they'll section off your schedule to where it's suitable for practice, and then you have study time where it's like study hall only. You have to focus on your work. You have to get the work done, because your mind matters. Your education matters. You can't just go into school for football or for basketball. You have to go to school for something. And so they always, one thing that my parents have always said was, I've heard with like other people they've talked to when they were going into sports, was like, make sure that you have a strong basis in something, just in case something doesn't work. Not everybody gets drafted into NFL or to the NBA, and that's something you have to accept. You're not always going to get drafted, and you can try over and over again, but that trying is going to take time. And some way, somehow, you're going to have to find some money at some point. And so not all schools will draft you even for college. And so that's like a big step too. You should be able to get to a school just by your education alone. The things that you've done, your GPA, your SAT score, they should be able to get you into your school, not just by through a college recruit. You know, you should be able to get to school just by your intellect, and that is something that people lack and don't realize. You know, and I feel like some people have potential for greater
definitely.
things.
Most
and
definitely.
I'm not saying that you can play a sport really, really well.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and pursue that sport. But some people in the sporting industry have other passions. They have other things that they don't have potential for. And like it's crazy because you can do both.
Right.
Because there's off season.
Exactly.
You know? Off season isn't the whole but a certain period. So like you have time to do what you want to do. And I know there's like 2 football players that have like a cupcake shop. Something that you would never suspect from football players.
Right.
But yet they have it and they produce like good, like and they say they're good, and like kids come in and see them, and it's like, oh my God, you have it, and it's like it's something that helps people with. It's really positive, you know. And I love positivity, and that's another thing that was in my mindset was positivity fuels me, you know. And positivity is like it's just there. And if you do not go into a positive mindset with things, you won't get a positive outcome.
Exactly.
Negativity will produce negativity, and positivity will produce positivity.
Exactly.
And so I was just like, you know what? Bump the negative stuff. Positive is what my mindset.
You clinged on to the positive, and that's the right thing to do.
No matter what. Like,
exactly.
There's many a days where like you just feel down, you don't feel like doing anything, or like you just like you're having a bad day. You know, everybody has those from time to time. But my positivity drives me throughout my day. I'm like, okay, stay positive. And I have things that help me to reinforce it. Like I look at quotes. Or there's like a page that actually helps you with like it gives you like positive motivation, and it's really motivating for me because like I feel like every single day it gives you one every day. Every single day it has spoken to me in a different way that kind of corresponds to what I'm probably dealing with that day. And it was really weird like how it is, but like it's a motivating force that has definitely provided a lot of positivity in my life.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Truly awesome. I am like I'm inspired by this guy right here. Last 2 questions I have for you. The first one is, who can you say attributed to your success of being who you are? We know that God is the number one.
Yeah.
Who else could you say, hey, this person really has made impact in me and influenced me in being where I am and who I am today?
I definitely have to say my parents. A lot of people have contributed to it. My parents definitely are like one of the biggest people in my life that have definitely contributed. One because my mom and my dad not really giving up and keep pushing to where they are now. You know, because they didn't start off in the best place, and they started off in different environments, and just different things happen. And so they've told me stories about like different things in the past, and how they've paved the way and built pretty much their empire in order to help assure me that I can make it through college, you know, just to be successful. And so they definitely have influenced a huge part of my life, and I'm grateful for having them as parents and all that. My uncle, James, I call him my brother because we were kind of raised as brothers because we were like 5 years apart. But he definitely has influenced some parts of my life, only because I can see his determination and his motivation. He's always had like a work ethic that was just out of this world, you know. He's always working, always doing. He went from the shipyard. He drives trucks now. Like he does a lot of things. And the day of my interview, even though I just got the interview from just my parents, the day of my interview, he talked to because I went into it really blind. Like the whole process of me getting my job, I got on my own, except that one part of the interview. And like even still, I walk to work every day. Every day still. I still walk to work. Sometimes in the rain, sometimes in the snow. And like it pays off to really to be you, to be positive, and to really shine something bright. Because people would take me home sometimes. Like it doesn't even have to be raining or nothing like that. They would just take me home. Like, you need a ride home?
Come on.
And and it was really powerful. But the day that I was going out to that interview, it's 5 minutes. He talked to me real quick. He was like, make sure when you go into the interview, you just know, like, say something about the product, because sometimes they want to hear about the product and what they sell. Like, if you know your way around the product and you know how to produce it pretty well, like, you will get, you know, some pointers on that. And so it definitely kind of contributed to my interview process of when I was like, okay, well, yeah, I know y'all have this, and this, you know, and I found this to be very interesting and how you can do this and change this. And people have always said that I sell myself pretty well. I present myself pretty well because I feel like I have good presentation skills.
And you do.
Like people say I always have good presentation skills. Like I had a presentation in high school where it was like a 15-minute presentation I had to do by myself. And at the end of the presentation, everybody was just like, and I was like, any questions? And everybody was like,
you answered.
We have no questions. Yeah, and it was weird to me. I was just like, oh, okay, but you know, it was some little thing that you you take for granted, and you realize that they have prepared you.
Exactly,
and it's just so crazy. Who else has really influenced me? My peers, the people that I carry myself around, that definitely influenced my story and my process, because you start off with a certain group of people, and it kind of advances. It gets smaller, it gets wider. It just depends, and so. Down here was definitely, I feel like a lot of the Newport news that I had on me at the time was really like, it was more negative than where I'm at now. You know, it was like some people were just not in the right mindset. And in order for me to help, I definitely had to remove myself, become something, and come back. And that's really where I feel like it definitely will help me, because you can't always grow in this place, you know. Plants can't grow in darkness. You gotta come to light.
Come to the light.
And you can affect the things around you as well. And so, like, the people that I was around down here, some people definitely were a positive influence and gave me that spark to do better in my life, you know. But some people were definitely like a weight in my life that I had to like let go and say, okay, look, you gotta get yourself together. And when I went to VCU, people that I centered myself around there were just a totally different like vibe. VCU was my first choice. Always been my first choice. I changed it to JMU once I visited JMU because it's beautiful. But I changed it back to VCU only because I got accepted in them first, and because I think this was God. My counselor, he never submitted my transcript to JMU, so I got rejected from them because my transcript never went in. But I think that was a work of God, because I needed to go to VCU. You know, I needed to go here. And I always had a drawing to there ever since my brother was, he had braces. And so he went to a VCU dental place to get his braces done. So I think I went over there one time with them. And I don't know why I fell in love with VCU. I just did. And I always had like a yearning to go to VCU, which is something pulling me. And when I finally got there, it was just like immediate satisfaction, immediate like love.
Yeah, peace.
Yes, inner peace.
The whole thing.
Yes, and it was so amazing. And the people, the environment up there is really like, it's powerful. Because they affect you in so many different ways. And just seeing people's open-mindedness, seeing people's just like vibe. It's so amazing. Like, you can just walk down the street, somebody will say hi, just trying to meet you. You know, like it was a couple of nights ago. Somebody was playing cards outside. These two girls, and they said whoever loses has to go meet somebody new. And so I happened to be walking. And she was like, hey, she asked me a weird question. She was like, have you ever been to Alaska? I was like, I've never been to Alaska. It's kind of weird. But like at the same time, we met, and she was like, oh, my name's this. I was like, oh, my name's this. And I met the other girl too. Went inside, told my roommate, and we all came back outside. We played a game of cards, and then went back in. Yeah. Nice. It's very different from here. You know? The environment's very different. It's it's much more safer. You know.
I was about to say, you didn't have to worry about somebody, coming by spraying up the place or anything like that.
Like, you don't have to worry about those things. Like, and one thing people don't realize is, like, with police, I know one thing: people do not like police a lot of times, and especially black people in the community, because of the things that have happened. One thing I definitely never said I I hate the police. I never said anything like that. You know, police are here for a reason. Because they're here to protect you. You know, in circumstances. First thing you'll call is 911 in a situation. You know, somebody's getting hurt, somebody's dying, you know, anything like that. And the police up there are so nice. Like, they're so warmy, and they protect us, you know.
Approachable.
Approachable and everything like that. Like, you don't have to worry about those things. Even down here, police in Newport News aren't bad at all. You know? And so, like, different areas promote different things. And when you see it in the media is definitely a big influence on a lot of negativity in the world. And so when you see things in the media about police, you automatically assume all police are the same. Never.
And it's not.
It's not like that. You know, and then you put this on you. Now you're putting extra stress and extra things on you that can cause you to look suspicious. Because police are definitely more scared than we are. Because they don't know what they're about to come up to.
They don't know anything about you.
They don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about your car. You get pulled over, you can have anything in your car. And like, some people are just like that, where they have anything in their car, and they're not careful of the things, or they have a different mindset, and they're just negative. They're not producing anything good. And so that's the problem, you know. And so, like, with the police up there, it's just so nice. The police down here, they're pretty nice too. I've never really interacted with like the main police people.
Right.
But I know, like, at the school, they have police officers
Right.
there.
Right.
They're nice, they're
Nice.
approachable, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why people just automatically go straight to the
Negative
of everything when it's really not that negative.
Again, it goes back to what you said, the answer being the media, how the media portrays everything. And then, so it gives the popo a bad image, and it gives the community a bad image as well. Because if the police wasn't there to do their jobs, then who's going to clean up the mess, or who's going to prevent the mess from happening?
Exactly.
You know, and that, like you said, that's the first people who we call when something happens. You know, it's the people that you supposedly dislike. You know, but everyone needs to work together.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, everybody, there's bad apples on both sides. In the police force, there's bad apples, you know, a few, and there's a few bad apples, you know, in the community.
Yeah.
So the problem resides with those two. You know, but in the overall, we look at the bigger picture. Hey, everybody's just trying to live the next day. Everybody's just trying to get along. Everyone has a job to do. Everyone's trying to get to their job and make it home. So yeah, there are issues, you know, that we can go on and on about in regards to the interactions of police and the communities. But at the same time, like what you said, when you get outside of the community of negative and you go into the light, and you go to the positive, you're like, wait a minute, the media didn't sold me a lie.
Yeah.
You know,
there's so many more things.
Exactly.
So many
Yeah,
more things.
exactly. Okay, so in wrapping up, my last question for you: what is your God tip for the people, for the viewers? What is it that you would want them to know that help you get through life?
Definitely to find your walk with God, because everybody's walk is different. I know for my walk, it was definitely like a process of transferring from just different things, you know. And for me, I was raised in the church pretty much like most people are, you know. And so I was raised in the church, and I always had that implanted in me through my mom. And it really has carried me through that. But even when I left for college, I left from a church that I had been at for years, you know. And I went to college, and I'm just out on my own, you know, now. Only thing I had was God, really, you know, God and some of my friends that came with me. But God was my main, you know, person that was there. That he was the only one that was there, immediate, you know. And so I still haven't found a church up there to go to, because it's kind of hard to go to other churches when you realize certain things of corruption and just different aspects of church and stuff like that. That's why people are pretty much drawn away. It should be different. It's a problem. But
So true.
But I realized I was like, I have to strengthen my relationship with God. Even though I had a alright relationship, I want to have a better. I want to have a great relationship with God. You know, and so I had to strengthen that. And to find my walk was to test myself, to pray as much as I could, you know, to really just in times that not just when times I needed it, just to say, hey God, thank you for waking me up, you know.
Exactly.
It was one morning I just jumped up and I said, thank you for waking me up, and I pushed it. That day was one of our best days.
Really?
Because it was just like
Started out right out with him.
Yes, I motivated straight through that, and like somebody had told me, they were like, what was the first thing you do when you wake up? And I was like, you think you pray. Most times you grab your phone, you know, check something or whatever. And so it really was strange, but it's really powerful just to have your own walk with God, because it's a personal walk. Nobody else really knows your walk with God unless you share it.
Exactly.
But even then, they don't get the full aspect.
Exactly.
You know, there's something that you've been through, something that have held you back, have you've questioned yourself. You know, you question God, and you have to really build your faith. And people have asked me, like, how do you know, like, he's real? You know, because I have faith. And I can't tell anybody else that they will know that he's real until their time comes, because I had my own time where I knew, where I was, where it was confirmed. You know, things have been confirmed in my life. You know, things have been confirmed through my praying. Things have been confirmed through just him talking to me. You know, not even like a direct, like, hey, you know, it's confirmed. But like a thing where it was like something happened, or I saw something, or it was a sign or a vision or something that definitely contributed to that conformity. And I was just like, okay, it's you. You know, you're there. And so that's what really drives me, and that's where I definitely feel like it should be a God tip, is to find your own path with God. You know? So true. All right, folks.
Again, I've been joined by Mr. Nehemiah Prince, and he is a very intelligent, very person who is focused on getting to where, you know, just fulfilling purpose and what it is God has for him. And he was here today to encourage not only us, but everyone, especially the youth that are out there, to have a mindset of going forward. So again, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Nehemiah, for coming out here to join me this morning,
appreciate you.
early Saturday morning. Thank you. And until next time, we'll see you then. This is Owen Watson signing out on, or should I say, turning the page in your life with Book Talk, Your Story, Mr. Nehemiah Prince. Thank you very much.
Thank you.